Hi, welcome to Midwest Magic Cleaning. My name is I Can't Believe It's Not Clutter, and today I'm going to be doing a video that people have been asking me for quite a while. It's what's in my kit and how do you get started with a cleaning business or doing free cleanups for people. I don't mess around with like long filler intros, so let's just answer the first question right off the bat. How do I get started doing a cleaning business or cleaning people's places for free? In both situations, the way I started was I found local Facebook groups, and if you're in a rural area, that's really easy to do because you can find like your local Chamber of Commerce Facebook page or just little groups of people who post things about the town. In a city, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you're going to have Facebook groups that kind of concentrate their focus on your area of the city. But I just started posting in there and saying, here's what I do. I'm autistic. I like cleaning houses. I like to record the cleaning and make little fun videos out of them. The messier the house, the better. If you allow me to film the cleanup of your house, I will keep you anonymous and I'll do it totally for free. And people came out of the woodwork asking for help because at that point, all you got to do is just wait for them to send you messages. Now, you can do the same thing if you're starting up a business, like a cleaning business, but you have to be more careful because if you're accepting money for what you do, now you can be considered a spammer if you're going into local Facebook groups and just saying, hey, I'm starting a cleaning business. Here's what I charge. Here's how to get a quote and all that. Now you're a business that's uninvited into people's lives. So the way that I do that, it does cost a tiny bit of money to do, but you're going to be spending money out of pocket anyway to start a business. I made a Facebook page for my business, and then I posted on there for a little bit to make sure that I had some sort of interaction going on. So in other words, I would talk about what's going on in my everyday life, and I would treat it as social media and not as a commercial. Here's some pictures of me. Here's some pictures of my house. Here's what my dog looks like today. And I build that up a little bit. When I open the doors to the business, I make a post announcing it and saying, here's what I've got. I've got 2 weekly slots and 4 bi-weekly slots and 5 monthly slots that I'm opening up. Here's the area that I work in. Here's the limit on the miles I'm willing to travel. Here's what I offer. I lay all that out and try to think of all the questions somebody would have. Once I post it, and you try not to make a long post because people won't read long posts on Facebook, but you try to get that posted succinctly. Then whenever you post it, boost it. Drop like $20 or $30 into a boost, and then you have to kind of mess around with the settings to tell it where you want to target. So I just want to target people in, say, Boston, and I only want to target people ages 25 to 70. And you can even target even more specific than that. You can say, I just want to target women in the ages of 30 to 36 if you want. You can get super specific on who you want to target with these ads. My very first post, I targeted everyone over the age of 24 in my area because it's so sparsely populated that I need to kind of include as many people as possible. And then I boosted that post for $100. That typically at the time allowed about 7,000 to 8,000 people to see my post. And of those 7,000 to 8,000 people, I got about 20 customers. So for $100, I bought 20 customers. Then once I get those scheduled out and see how my weeks are filled over the course of a month, then I can reevaluate and say, okay, I can fit 2 to 3 more customers in here. And once you've built up that Facebook page enough, you no longer have to boost posts. People will actually see the posts on your actual Facebook page. But keep in mind, if you're doing this as a business, or even if you're just doing it for free, the age range of the people who need the help are the age range of the people who use Facebook. That's your target area. You can try other social media outlets, but Facebook is really your best bet for something like this. Now, in my business and in the free cleanups that I do, I supply all chemicals and all equipment, so that the person that I'm either having as a client or that I'm helping out does not have to worry about small things like, oh, do I need to replace toilet cleaner this week? I've got all that taken care of, and that price is wrapped up in my fee. So that'll never change. That's a part of my business model. It's a part of my business policy. However, that being said, understand that you can clean an entire house with nothing but these 2 things. Not counting the floors. Mr. Clean's Clean Freak, and that is used for things like oil, grease, dirt, sugar, dried on food. That's like your main grime cleaner. And then homemade APC, all-purpose cleaner. It's 70% isopropyl alcohol and 5 or 6 drops of Dawn dish soap. If you're using the 70% strength, you can use straight alcohol. What I do is I buy 91% strength, and then I mix it 2/3 alcohol in a bottle and 1/3 water in a bottle and 5 or 6 drops of Dawn, and I shake it up and it's ready to go. The reason I do that is because I clean so many houses, I go through a lot of APC, and it's better to have fewer bottles of 91% strength than more bottles of 70% strength. It just takes up a lot of space. So by diluting mine and mixing mine from a stronger strength of alcohol, it means I can fit more in my car and I can go longer before I need to replenish the alcohol. Why 70%? Because 70% is the recommended strength, and that's what we're diluting down to from 91% to 70%. 70% is the recommended strength for killing microbes. They need at least some sort of water to slow down the evaporation process of alcohol, and microbes ingest the water that's attached to the alcohol, and it basically makes them explode. You're also going to need just a standard cheap bucket. I try to use 3-gallon buckets, and you're going to need a bunch of cloth. Now, you can use dish rags when you start out or paper towels. It's totally fine. However, as soon as you can afford it, switch to microfiber cloths. They may feel weird on your hands. They may feel like they're not absorbing as much when you first use them, and it's because it's going to feel different than the rags you're used to using. But they work better. They just do. And then when you go the next step up, you're going to get some ultra fine microfiber towels, and that's for drying, and that is for cleaning off streaks from glass and from like shiny stone top counters. Also, one more hint, don't use APC on wood, especially antique wood. Just use that for really hard items like glass, ceramic, porcelain, stone countertops, laminate countertops. Just don't do it on wood because it can strip finish, because remember, it's alcohol. As far as what brand of rags I get, it really doesn't matter. I just get like the cheap ones that you find from Walmart. They also have Mr. Clean version, but they're pretty much all the same thing. Don't worry about the microfiber rags. You're going to go through those, like so many of them. It makes more sense to buy the cheap ones because you're not just going to use a couple rags per house. You're going to use like 20 rags per house. You're also going to need some toilet cleaner. I typically like Clorox with bleach, and then they also have one that's Clorox with bleach clinging gel. If it's no more expensive to get the clinging gel, I like that better because it sticks to the side of the bowl just a little bit better, which makes the chemical react for longer before it slides down into the water. Your next level of cleaning is going to be polish cleaning, and you can polish clean sinks with Barkeeper's Friend. That makes pretty much any sink that you use it on, but mainly stainless steel sinks, look like brand new. That's really, really good stuff. If you don't have access to Barkeeper's Friend, Comet is pretty decent too. If you're going to splurge on anything, splurge on Swiffer dusters because they're really good at dusting. You can dust without them. You can just get a little step ladder and dust by hand with a rag. That's totally fine. But if you're going to splurge on anything, I would splurge on Swiffer dusters. They just make things way easier. You can clean floors by hand with Mr. Clean and APC, but as soon as you can afford it, switch to Lysol or Pine Sol for floors that aren't hardwood. I prefer Lysol. And then you're eventually going to want to get some Mr. Clean refill, like a little gallon jug of it. It's cheaper than buying one bottle at a time. Keep in mind you can dilute Mr. Clean, and I would suggest doing so because full strength is really, really good at cleaning, but you're going to want to wear a mask because it can be an irritant to mucous membranes. It can make you cough, and it can make you sneeze and feel like you've got a cold. I would dilute it at least 50-50 whenever you're first starting out, if anything, just to save money. For floors that are hardwood, especially really nice floors, try out Murphy's Oil Soap. It's really, really good for hardwood floors. And if you don't have access to Murphy's, just threaten the floor until it shines. That's what I do. For specialty cleaning, on leather, I use a leather cleaner and a leather conditioner. The brand to me doesn't really matter, but don't use this on that type of leather that's got like a felt feel to it. That's more like raw leather. Don't do it on that, or that's kind of like microfiber. Only do that on slick leather or vinyl. This stuff is what I would consider level 3 cleaning. This is like super polish cleaning. Get yourself some liquid gold, or if you can't find that, Old English, and that's really nice wood polish. I probably wouldn't use this on antique antique furniture, but on all other wood furniture, this just makes everything glow. It's really good stuff. Follow the directions on all these. And then make sure you got a couple backup pieces of gear. I always keep a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver in case something needs tightened up or fixed. I carry a couple paint scrapers in case I find some really stuck on messes. And I always have a razor scraper. They don't scratch glass and they don't scratch stovetops, but you're often going to need those to clean up some really bad stoves. Scratch pads or scour pads. I like these better than Steel Daddies because they are incredibly cheap, like so cheap that you can throw them away when they're done, and they do just as good of a job as Steel Daddy. I always also carry Mr. Clean Magic erasers for really bad stains, but again, this is all like level 2 and level 3 type of cleaning. You can do the whole house with nothing but Mr. Clean and APC to start out with. This is all stuff that I'm showing you that once you get the clean part down, now you're polishing and shining, and that's where you can start to build your business and become known as more than just a house cleaner, but somebody who does like high-end housekeeping. That's where you can make some major money. Or when you're doing them for free, that's where you can make somebody's whole month. I always carry 2 types of trash bags. One is a 40-gallon contractor bag. They're super thick. They're meant for like yard work. And I mainly do that because when we're collecting all the bathroom trash and the kitchen trash, I can put it all in one bag. I also always keep 13-gallon trash bags for whenever I can't find their trash bags, I can replace theirs with mine. Or if I just have a small amount of trash to pick up, throwing away paper towels and our used gloves and used masks, that's what the 13 gallons are good for. The gloves you don't need anything special for. Just the regular gloves you find at the pharmacy section of a Walmart works just fine. That's what I do. And then eventually my wife found where you can order those in bulk. I don't remember where she found them, but they're awesome. So I buy like 2,000 at once. I always have N95 masks on hand for whenever you're cleaning an incredibly dusty place or one that it feels dangerous. If it doesn't feel dangerous, just a regular everyday mask like you wore during COVID is just fine. Just in case I run into something that's really, really, really dirty, I always carry oven cleaner with me, though I prefer to have Easy Off Fumeless. We couldn't find any at the time, so I've got the heavy duty. Wear a mask whenever you use that stuff. Then I'm just going to buy duplicates of everything and put it all to the side in a spare basket. That way, if I run out, I don't have to run back to the store. Once you get set up in your housekeeping business or you start doing it for free, always keep duplicates of everything because you really don't want to get down to running out of something and then finding out you're out of it. You want to always have backups. And that's why I cloned my son Jason. In case I run out of Jasons, I have additional Jasons to use. Now, one big thing to understand, this is not a business you can start for free. At a bare minimum, you're going to be spending money on transportation. When you first start this up, you could use your customers' cleaning supplies, but you're going to make less money doing that because now they have to supply the chemicals and you have to keep them evaluated on how much they have left. And once they're spending more money on more cleaners, eventually they're going to be like, man, this is starting to add up. As part of my business model, I charge a little bit more to clean houses than the average housekeeper, but I also do that heavy polishing and the crazy high-end housekeeping. And me supplying the chemicals got me more customers just because you're solving a problem. The customer's problem is, I don't want to deal with any of this. I just want somebody to come in and clean my house while I'm at work, and then I come home to a nice house. Most people don't want to form a bond and talk to you all day. Some people do, but they don't want any ties to what you're doing. They just want to hand you money, go to work, come home, and their house is in awesome condition. And if they're having to be a part of that process by buying their own stuff, then it becomes a problem in their head. So you're eliminating as much thinking about this process as humanly possible. That's why I provide all my own stuff. If you're going to be using your own broom, your own dustpan, and your own mop, I prefer Bona, but you can use whatever. It really doesn't matter. But you're also going to have to sanitize all that equipment. I sanitize my brooms and my mops by soaking them in bleach water and then letting them dry overnight. My rags, I run through 2 cycles of pure hot water with double soap. I use Tide, and that's enough to kill any nasties on it. And then I dry on like a hot cycle. With a Bona, you can pull off the little pad on the bottom and wash it right along with your cleaning rags. Another little tip, if you deal with kids in the house, you're often going to find some glue or some tape or something like that stuck to countertops or desks. Goo Gone is really good at getting adhesive off of surfaces. So I always carry a little bottle of that with me just in case. Another tip is always carry an additional phone charger with you because you are going to run out of battery at some point. Even if you're not filming, it's always good to have an additional one there, and then you can just plug it into their socket while you're cleaning. Then there's these little stick things that's good at getting hair out of drains, like bathtub drains, but they're also extremely good at cleaning out hair clogs in vacuum hoses, and especially at cleaning the hair out of carpet cleaners. For a vacuum, my personal favorite is a Hoover Power Drive Swivel XL. They're fairly cheap at Walmart, and they're lightweight. But the motors on those things are absolutely incredible. Now, the big thing is if you're going to start this from scratch and use as little money as humanly possible to start up, I would consider using your client's equipment and chemicals on the first clean. But after that, reinvest the money that you make from that cleaning into your own chemicals. And keep doing that with each client you get until you've built up your own supply. Because if you were to go out right now and start up a cleaning service like I've got from scratch and buy everything that I just showed you here, you'd be dropping at least $1,000 on what I've got in just the back of my car. That's including the vacuum. But if you start slow and you're worried about just the cleaning aspect and not the polishing aspect, I would say you can get away with, say, $300 to buy your first big round of stuff, and that would include the vacuum. You just have to be kind of frugal about what you're buying. If you're doing this stuff for free, you're not going to be making money to invest back into the business unless you get a YouTube channel and it starts getting big and then you get monetized through YouTube. That helps a lot. That's kind of how I afford to do a lot of my free cleanings. But it's the same thing. Like if you're doing this for free and you showed up to somebody's house with everything that I've got in the back of that car, you're showing up with $1,000 worth of equipment. Then if you have to rent a dumpster for them, you're dropping another $400 to $800, or in some areas of the country, $1,200 on a dumpster to get rid of the hoard. A lot of the time, you're going to ruin a lot of your equipment. So there are some hoards that I've cleaned that have been so bad I've had to throw away full vacuums, like everything, brooms, mops, every rag that I used on the place had to go. So I had to restock all that stuff with another $300 worth of equipment and chemicals and rags. If you're doing this for free, make sure you're wanting to do it for free and you're not trying to build some sort of money-making scheme behind it, because I promise you, you will not make money off of this. Unless you get super lucky and a YouTube channel blows up, you're just, this is not a profit thing. This should be something that you do because you genuinely want to help people out. And that's the way I started mine. I actually started my channel because I'm autistic and I like seeing time-lapse videos of houses being cleaned. And I watched so many, I literally ran out of videos to watch. And there's a very specific type of cleaning that I like, which is the really, really cluttered hoarding houses. I like to watch those turn from chaos to organization. And since there wasn't a lot on YouTube, I just decided to create my own. My fan base came later. So I was basically spending money on every free cleanup that I got for a really long time, not expecting anything in return. I just lucked out with my YouTube channel. But anyway, that's how I got started. That's how you can get started. If you got any questions, I will try to answer them in the comments, but keep in mind, I have a lot of comments. So if I can't get to your comment, just please be patient and I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. If you'd like to support the channel, we have a merchandise shop, which I'll link in the bio. We also have a member section, which I'll link in the bio. We get an extra video every Wednesday on the member section. And people keep asking me if I've got Venmo or PayPal or Patreon and all that. I don't have any of that, but YouTube does have a feature called Super Thanks, and people have been using that recently. I didn't actually know it was a big thing for a while, but if you just wanted to do like a one-time donation to show your support, that's fine. Please, please, please don't do that if you can't afford it. I don't want anybody giving this channel money unless they can genuinely afford it and just want to show their thanks in that way. Otherwise, I'm doing fine. I wouldn't do this if I couldn't afford to do it, or I'd find some other way to do it. if I couldn't afford to do it. But thank you so much for your support. If you like this type of video, let me know. People have been asking me to do it forever, and I know it can be a little bit rambly, but I figured as an extra video that I don't normally do, might as well give it a shot and see what happens. So suck it. Members, I will see you tomorrow, and everybody else, I'll see you this Saturday. Later.